Let's go across to the Supreme Court now, because they've directed that the Electoral Commission provide a legal justification for refusing to allow the use of existing voters' identification card as one of the acceptable documents in the upcoming mass voters registration exercise. A 7-member panel of the court, presided over by Chief Justice Eninia Boa, Thursday, June 4, gave the order during the hearing of a suit by the opposition NDC challenging the Electoral Commission's decision. Now, the NDC has described as unconstitutional the EC's decision to reject old voter IDs as a legitimate document for registering for a new one, alleging it will disenfranchise many. Let's go on Zoom now and speak with the communications director of the NDC, Sami Gyamfi. Mr. Gyamfi, thank you very much for your time with us, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kojo.
Now, I think I may have got it wrong. It's a communications officer, am I right?
Yes, you're right, communications officer.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. So perhaps we'll start with your reaction to the news from the Supreme Court.
I think the directive of the Supreme Court is in order because the issue of the exclusion of the existing voters' ID card from registration identification documents in the new constitutional instruments the EC has laid before Parliament is the pivot of our case before the Supreme Court. The Attorney General and the Electoral Commission had argued that the CI has not matured and therefore we were not properly before the courts. But I think the indication from the Supreme Court today was that they will proceed to determine our case on its merits and have directed the Electoral Commission to file their statement of case detailing their reason, or if you like, legal justification for the exclusion of the voters' ID card. We are all waiting to see the arguments and the law the EC is relying upon to justify this grave injustice we are seeking to perpetrate against millions of eligible voters in this country. We are happy that at long last the matter has come up for hearing. It is our prayer that the process will transpire speedily so that we can settle this matter once and for all.
Now, the autonomy and independence of the EC is enshrined in our laws. No question about that from their perspective anyway. Do you not feel that they will find sufficiency in that law to make their legal arguments?
No, the EC is not autonomous. The EC, yes, is independent. Their independence is guaranteed by the 1992 Constitution. But as a creature of law, they are subject to law, and therefore our courts. And that is why, since the inception of this Fourth Republic and the 1992 Constitution, various acts and enactments promulgated by the EC have been tested in our courts. Some have been struck down by our courts as unlawful. Some of their actions have been declared unconstitutional, and therefore null and void. And so the EC doesn't have absolute independence because their independence is subject to the jurisdiction of our courts. And so the fact that they are independent does not mean they can disenfranchise millions of eligible voters like they are seeking to do through this new CI they have made in Parliament and go on like that without any questions. We are determined to stop the Electoral Commission from treading on this dangerous path, which portends great danger for our democracy and the peace and stability of this country. Because like we all know, the right to vote is an inalienable right. It is a God-given right, which should not be violated under any circumstance. People have fought and died just to ensure that their right to vote, their right to self-determination, their right to universal adult suffrage is respected. And it will not be said that it was in our time, during our generation, that we allowed the Electoral Commission to erode the gains we have made, relative to the protection of the right to vote all these years in this country and even, across the world. And so what we are saying is simple. The existing voters' ID card has been upheld by the Supreme Court of Ghana in the case of Abu Ramadan versus the Republic, number 2. If you look at the ruling of a leadership, Georgina Wood, CJ Ashe then was, she made it clear that the existing voters' ID card at any given time is the best prima facie evidence of one's eligibility to be registered as a voter. And that is law. That is what is called, judicial precedent, which per Article 11 of our 1992 Constitution, forms part of the laws of this country. And the EC is enjoined to respect that.
Right. Now, let's touch briefly on this. The very same day that the Supreme Court made this ruling, the founder of your party, which is the party that took the EC to the Supreme Court, the founder, former President Rawlings, says the EC should be supported to do its job. Do you see that to be a contradiction of what the NDC is seeking to do?
Not at all. But the founder of the NDC could not have said it any better. We all have a civic responsibility to support the EC, deliver on its mandate, because we are all citizens and we have that responsibility under the Constitution of this country. But the issue then is, how do you support the EC to succeed? Supporting the EC to succeed doesn't mean that you say yes to everything they are doing. It means that when they are treading on dangerous or slippery paths, which portends trouble for this country, you master the courage to point out to them and ensure that the right thing is done. The way to support the EC is by insisting on the need for the EC to respect the conventions that we have used for our democratic experiment since 1992. In this case, stakeholder consultations through IPAC, which is what has brought us to where we are today, where we are celebrated across the world for our democratic credentials. And so if the EC is departing from the normal IPAC engagements, deliberations, which precede voter registration exercises, elections and all that, and are going about things in a dictatorial way, and in ways that suggest that they have an ulterior motive to disenfranchise voters and to rig the election for the incumbents, then it behoves on us in supporting the EC to point these things out. And that is why you would realize that after our founder, former President Jerry Don Rawlings, made a point that it is important for all stakeholders to support the EC, he added that notwithstanding, the EC would have to ensure that all stakeholders are consulted relative to its decision to compile a new voters register, and that the debate on whether or not Ghana needs a new voters register should be keenly, analyzed, for all of us to come up with solutions that